The following is an interview with Ernesto Falcon, an attorney and legislative counsel for the Electronic Frontier Foundation, which is one of the leading citizen advocacy groups specializing in the law of the Internet. I'm Spencer Graves, a journalist with 90.1 FM, KKFI, Kansas City Community Radio. This interview was recorded Thursday, July 12, 2017. Mr. Falcon, without referring people to your website, EFF.org, could you please tell our listeners what you would like the public to do about the current Federal Communications Commission's Notice of Proposed Rulemaking on Restoring Internet Freedom, which is the freedom of major telecommunications companies like Comcast and AT&T to censor our Internet usage?
We're kind of approaching it in a number of ways. We're trying to activate the public so that they make their voice heard. We're filing our own, the attorneys at EFF are filing our own legal brief in terms of the issues and the impacts on the policy decisions that are being made and whether those are fit within the context of the law.
Yep.
And we're trying to activate as many kind of technologists and folks who are involved in the actual building and running of the internet to weigh in with the regulator, because there are a different set of experts that are necessary to talk. So those are all the things we're doing, kind of like in a real quick summary. The hope would be that the small businesses, the small internet service providers, and just the general activism around this space will make it clear the politics on this is very much one-sided, and that Chairman Pai wouldn't proceed, and if he does proceed, then it's a different posture at that point. Then we have to fight. We're probably going to have to fight it out in the courts. At the end of the day.
Do you have any specific suggestions regarding possible contents of official comments?
No one has to be an attorney to file comments to the FCC. All the FCC really needs is, why are the rules important to them as they stand today? So, like the rules of non-discrimination, no blocking, no throttling, and neutrality generally. Why is that important today? What is the impact on them if those rules were removed? What's the harm that would occur? And then general piece of what the FCC should do, which is I would suspect stay the course. Don't change the underlying a legally enforceable regime of net neutrality. Don't abandon that in hopes of the major ISPs kind of behaving nicely.
I've heard that if comments are filed in a certain way, the FCC is required to pay more attention to them.
Yeah, in the sense of the format would be, it needs to be concretely, kind of going over the way I just talked about it. You're explaining I'm a local business or a local organization or what have you. You're impacted by the law, and the change in the law would have the following adverse consequences to me to do what I do, whether it's commercial product or some sort of other like organization or mobilization tools or kind of whatever they do. It depends on the internet and depends on the openness of the internet to be successful. So that's the stuff that gets attention, because the FCC has to respond to the concerns in its order by explaining how it's in the public's interest to do what they're doing. And so like that, there's that, and then the bulk of the major numbers of comments are come from average citizens who just want a free and open internet, and make it very clear in 1-2 sentences. Don't mess with the rules, leave them the way they're at under Title II. I support neutrality, right? So this chairman has already indicated he will give less attention to, which is unfortunate. I think that's really kind of a disservice in terms of his job as a public servant. But that's what they're doing, and at the end of the day, this is a matter of the administrative agency and how it's supposed to work with the public. We're based in Kansas City, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean the most fundamentally important thing for you guys in the state of Kansas is the senator that's your representative in Congress, Senator Moran. I think he's a Republican that understands the importance of the internet openness, but he's also sympathetic to the ISP. So he just needs to hear a lot from people in the state of Kansas saying, I like net neutrality and the rules that exist today. Please don't change it. As my senator, what are you doing to protect my interests? I think so. That's I've long worked with his office in the past, and I think he's someone who really understands the importance of innovation and openness and kind of internet freedom on a very different level than I think many other politicians do. And,
okay, great.
My hope would be everyone locally, kind of activates and makes those calls, so that you have two senators and a member of the House that are pretty critical because they have a lot more of a say. The Missouri delegation also is just as important, I think, on this one. But in terms of the Senator Moran in Kansas, the reason why he's kind of unique is he's also a lead senator on telecommunications policy. He sits on the Committee of Direct Oversight over the Federal Communications Commission, so he has a lot more of a direct say. People need to take it to the next step, which is plan to meet your elected officials, your two senators and members of the House, in the coming weeks, and be very active, because it's only through mobilization that we're going to win this.